I met Robert Mosher about 2 years ago. They were holding a contest, an international contest, to light the Coronado Bridge. And Robert would come to each stage of the process because he was the designer of the bridge. And after meeting with him, he told me that he didn't feel that, doing a documentary, that's what I wanted to do, a documentary on the lighting of the bridge. He didn't feel that would be a good waste of my time because he felt that the bureaucratic hurdles just to get that project finished, that it would happen sometime after both him and I had passed on. So, that was probably the end of it when we first met. After about a good 12 months of sitting on that project and doing some other things, I revisited the project by asking him if I could do a story on him. I'd done enough behind-the-scenes research on him to see that this guy has got an amazing history. There are YouTubes you can see where he sits in crowds at different universities and kind of tells the story of his life. And it's never flushed out. And so I met with him. We went to the La Jolla Museum of Contemporary Art. And while I was trying to convince him of the reason why it was worthwhile doing his project, we were interrupted by a young man and his mom. And it turns out the young man was an engineering student who just wanted to say to Robert that he appreciated his work. And that's all that I needed, is just stranger admitting that he knew who Robert was and what Robert had done. And so that was the beginning of a project which has had me going and hanging out at his house and his office and interviewing him and other people in town. Some were his old colleagues from back in the good old days when they were competing for projects together. And then after that, it just goes on. And so it's a great American story. If you like architecture, it's interesting. If you like art, it's interesting. If you like the history of this country over the last 9 decades, we follow that. I follow from Robert's grandparents all the way up to Robert today. And this is the Kickstarter project. It's definitely an interesting story. Take a look at the 2 trailers. What I say in the trailers is so true. He is connected to every person in the one trailer that you see. And the connections aren't just like you and I can look at the moon tonight and say we both looked at the moon. No, these are colleagues, friends, personal acquaintances. So enjoy the trailers, read as much as you can, and help support the project. All right? Ricci, Richard Franklin, director.